about how to make friends as an adult. It might sound like an easy thing. It gets harder and harder as you get older, and I think it's because we're all sort of consumed in our lives. Yeah. You're in your little world. You're not in a dorm anymore with access to all of these people the same age on the same road. So you're a grown-up. How do you make a friend? It can be tough, especially depending on what city in this country you live in.
Yes, and you know what? This actually, I kind of thought of this idea because one of my best friends moved to Vancouver last year, and I had a conversation with her over, over the phone, and she said, she goes, Karyn, it's like so hard. Like I've got a business, I've got my kids, I don't have a lot of time, I got my husband, and then how do I now try to make friends? And you realize, like, especially if you've just moved somewhere and you know no one, how do you actually even begin to kind of think about developing friends? It's hard.
It's very true. It is really hard.
It is
You've got to go outside of your comfort zone.
And it takes work.
And it takes work.
And it takes work.
Like anything else.
Like anything. You have to kind of be intentional about it. So, so the tip number one is to really think about what are the values and qualities you actually want in a friend. So you can have like different types of friends. You could have like the friends that you just do sports with, friends you just do dinner clubs with or your book club, friends at work, more like almost acquaintances. Or you could have kind of like, the 2 or 3 very deep, meaningful friends. Right. And if you're kind of looking for that kind of friend, then think about what are the kind of the main values that you're looking for in a friend. You want them to be responsible, funny, social, creative. Like, what are the natural people that you actually are drawn to? What would you say? What would you say in terms of the type of people that you're naturally drawn to?
I am naturally drawn to people who are very open about their feelings. They speak their mind very clearly. Yeah. They're extremely loyal, because I am extremely loyal. Right. Once you're in my circle, you're in my circle. Right. Like, I will protect you, I will defend you, and I like to see that reciprocated in a relationship. Right. But also people who are fun.
That are fun.
But it doesn't, it's for me, the baseline is not about the fun. I have some friends that are so painfully shy, and I will always be their friend because we connect on a different level. So,
so I think it's kind of a neat thing. I think it's kind of a neat thing to think about who are the people that you're naturally drawn to, because I'm also drawn to loyalty for sure, but creative. I'm very much drawn to creative people.
Not me so much.
Yeah, really creative people, and also people who are self-employed or entrepreneurs. I'm really drawn, kind of especially so. And then different types. Like, I love people in 20s and 60s. I've got really good friends in their 60s, friends in their 20s. Like, I like people to challenge me, to kind of expand how I'm thinking. I don't want people just kind of in my own little world.
I hear that.
Right? So that's kind of like, think about what kind of friend you're actually drawn to. So that's tip number one.
I think it's really cool that we have a couple of women who actually met in the audience of City Line. So a lot of people do come down to the show together, but we do get a lot of people coming on their own. And it's a friendly audience any day of the week. I always tell people, you might leave here with a friend. Well, Carrie and Michelle actually did leave as friends. They are still best friends, really close friends. All these years later, they met back in 2006, came to the audience alone, and Michelle is the very sort of social one. She said to Carrie, do you want to go for lunch after the show? Because they'd had such a great experience together. And Carrie, who wouldn't usually do this, said, yeah, let's
cool.
go.
I love it.
And so now here they are in our audience right now. Carrie and
took that one little step, right? Do you want to go for lunch? That's what it came down to. Do you want to go for lunch? And how that totally changes your friendship.
So I want to know from Carrie, what made you say yes that day for lunch with this sweet stranger?
Well, we were waiting in line together. We were sitting next to each other, chatting in between segments, and I was on my way home, and she invited me to lunch, and I just said, sure. We seemed to connect, and
I want to know from Michelle now, what do you think it is that has kept you two together? Because that could have been one lunch date and then done, but you're still together. You still have this friendship after all these years. What is it?
I think that we just connect on a good level. I mean, we get along. We always can communicate properly. We have a lot of the same in common stuff. We do things together. We have a lot of same interests. I think that's the main thing, and just like that, she's a really supportive, really loyal friend.
Very
I think
cool.
that's why,
Because the next tip is you have to brainstorm areas where you might be able to meet somebody. So put City Line on your list.
Yes, there you go. You never know.
You can meet a friend or a husband or a wife. You never know. You never know what's going to happen in the audience.
Yes.
But you have to be willing to step outside of your comfort zone a little bit. So let's talk about all the different places that you might meet a friend.
So tip number 2 is you got to brainstorm on kind of like the networks. So you want to kind of like pause and think about all the different parts of your life that you could actually make a friend. So here are some examples. Work.
Yeah, that's
Or
a huge
work
one.
associations, like a lot of professional associations will have groups, so a great way to meet people. Neighbors, oh my goodness, we have the craziest, most fun neighbors.
Oh, that's great.
And it's so crazy fun. And
Yeah.
so for us, that's been a really good network. Parent council, or getting involved in your kid's school.
Huge.
Actually, I just joined our school, and I'm thinking, why didn't I not do this 2 years ago? So much fun, and a great way to meet other people in your community. You could do church, sports, or social clubs, cottage camps. Another great strategy are friends of friends. So one of my
Yeah.
friends, one of her best friends had been moving from Brazil to Toronto, and my friend at the time was not living here. So she said, I don't live there, but I have 3 of my other good friends that live there. So she actually set us all up.
Oh, that's
and then we
great.
became actually great friends.
Yeah.
Because great friends know great friends.
Yes.
Right? So it's actually a great way to actually do a little bit of, make it just easizer for you. Book clubs, sport teams, and also charities and nonprofits. I find there's something very powerful when you're actually working on a cause together. And I found that with parent council. We're working on a project, we're working on a cause. It's very bonding.
It is. We went to Facebook and actually threw this out to our viewers, and I love the places they've met each other. Fabricland, okay? Lisa Sinclair met her great friend in line at Fabricland.
Really, right? Just shows you can meet someone anywhere.
12 years later, they are still friends. Another person, Ruby Ferris, met a wonderful friend, a best friend on a train in Italy. So this is so cool. And I love this story from Joanne Lowry. She found someone had recently moved into a building, and she left a package for them, and they've been friends ever since.
Neighbors, see?
Neighbors.
Yeah.
So but it's reaching out,
It's
and
reaching
it's maybe
out.
putting yourself in a place that might be a bit uncomfortable.
Exactly what they did. They reached out,
Yeah.
and then they accepted it.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so meet your next best friend at City Line is the point. Let's